Imagine a world where political leaders have to navigate the complexities of power, survival, and influence every single day. Where public opinion shifts like sand, and every action, whether virtuous or ruthless, has the potential to change the course of history. It sounds like something straight out of a high-stakes political thriller. But for centuries, these were the very concerns that Niccolò Machiavelli, the author of The Prince, grappled with. His famous treatise, written in 1513, is often hailed as one of the most influential works in political theory, offering timeless strategies on how rulers can gain and maintain power. But in the age of democracy, global transparency, and social media, can Machiavelli's advice still provide valuable guidance for modern leaders? Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel, where we explore some of the most thought-provoking ideas throughout history and how they continue to resonate in our ever-evolving world. Today, we will take a deep dive into Machiavelli's The Prince to uncover how his strategies for maintaining power can still apply to today's political leaders, or if they have become outdated in our modern, interconnected world. Before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more insightful discussions on historical and contemporary ideas that shape our lives. To understand how The Prince could still be relevant today, we must first examine its core ideas. In essence, Machiavelli's advice in The Prince revolves around the acquisition, preservation, and expansion of power. Unlike idealistic political philosophies that emphasize morality or justice, Machiavelli's approach is rooted in pragmatism. He argues that a ruler should do whatever is necessary to secure their position, even if it means resorting to deception, manipulation, or force. The ultimate goal, according to Machiavelli, is stability and security for the state, even at the expense of conventional ethical standards. One of the most notable and controversial aspects of The Prince is the notion that the ends justify the means. Machiavelli contends that a ruler must be prepared to use any strategy, whether it's cruelty, deceit, or cunning, if it serves the greater purpose of maintaining authority. This idea has led to the term Machiavellian being used to describe individuals who employ ruthless and manipulative tactics in the pursuit of power. While some of his advice may seem ruthless or cold-blooded, Machiavelli also emphasizes the importance of adaptability. He believes that a successful ruler must be able to understand and navigate the ever-changing political landscape. The core message is that rulers must be pragmatic, strategic, and most importantly, flexible. In the 21st century, democracy, media scrutiny, and transparency have dramatically reshaped the political landscape. Yet, the challenges of maintaining power remain fundamentally similar to those faced by rulers in Machiavelli's time. Let's explore some of the key pieces of advice from The Prince and analyze how they might still be applied to modern political leadership. The importance of public perception. One of the most enduring concepts from The Prince is the idea that the perception of a leader is just as important as their actual qualities. Machiavelli famously stated that it is better for a ruler to be feared than loved, but if they cannot be both, they should prioritize fear. This might sound harsh, but it reflects the political realities of the time, where loyalty was often extracted through fear and the threat of violence. In the modern world, where public relations and media play a crucial role, perception is more important than ever. A leader's public image can determine their political survival, influencing everything from electoral success to the ability to pass legislation. Today's politicians must carefully manage their image to maintain power, relying on social media, spin doctors, and public relations strategies to craft a narrative that appeals to their constituents. The principle that a leader's actions must reflect the perception they wish to project holds true in contemporary politics, even if the methods have evolved. The power of adaptability. Machiavelli stresses the importance of adaptability for a ruler. He writes that a prince must be able to adjust his tactics depending on the circumstances. In his words, a wise ruler ought to adapt to the times. In the context of modern politics, this idea has particular resonance. Political leaders must be able to respond to crises, whether they be economic downturns, global conflicts, or social movements, by adjusting their policies and approaches. Take, for example, the leadership style of political figures like Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression or Winston Churchill during World War II. Both leaders had to adapt to unprecedented situations, making difficult decisions that were in stark contrast to their previous policies or positions. In the age of globalization, political leaders are constantly faced with new challenges, and adaptability is key to maintaining power. Realpolitik, a practical approach to power. Machiavelli's advice is often considered an early formulation of Realpolitik, a political system where power is more important than ideals. Realpolitik is based on pragmatism rather than ethical considerations, and it remains a guiding principle for many contemporary politicians. Leaders today, particularly in democratic systems, often engage in Realpolitik when making decisions related to national security, foreign policy, and economic strategy. For example, consider the U.S. approach to international relations during the Cold War. The United States often supported authoritarian regimes and dictatorships in the name of preventing the spread of communism, choosing short-term political gain over long-term ethical considerations. This is a direct application of Machiavelli's ideas, where the ends, maintaining geopolitical power, justified the means, even if those means were morally questionable. The need for ruthlessness in crisis. Machiavelli is often associated with the idea that rulers must be willing to use cruelty or force to maintain their authority. This principle has caused much controversy, especially in a modern context where leaders are often expected to uphold human rights and democratic values. However, in times of crisis, such as wars, pandemics, or civil unrest, leaders may be forced to make difficult decisions that involve using power in ways that may seem harsh. During the COVID-19 pandemic, for instance, many leaders around the world were faced with decisions that involve harsh lockdowns, restrictions on freedoms, and other unpopular measures in order to protect public health. These actions, while controversial, were justified by some as necessary to preserve the stability of society and prevent greater harm. While the context of modern democracies may prevent leaders from resorting to extreme measures as freely as in Machiavelli's time, the notion that a ruler must be prepared to make difficult, even unpopular decisions in times of crisis remains a relevant piece of Machiavellian advice. While the prince offers useful insights into maintaining power, modern political environments differ vastly from those of the Renaissance. Today, most nations operate under some form of democratic governance, where leaders are accountable to the public and must maintain the trust of the electorate. Social media and global connectivity have also made it increasingly difficult for leaders to operate in secrecy or without oversight. In this context, some might argue that Machiavelli's advice is outdated. The transparency brought about by digital technology means that manipulation, deceit, and coercion are more likely to be exposed. Modern leaders are held to higher ethical standards, and their actions are scrutinized by an informed, active electorate. A ruthless approach to leadership, where public perception is manipulated to such a degree that it distorts reality, could quickly backfire in the age of global transparency. However, while the methods may differ, the core principles of the prince remain relevant. In a world of information overload, the ability to control narratives, manage perception, and respond to crises with strategic agility are still essential qualities for any political leader. Machiavelli's insights into human nature and power dynamics transcend specific political systems and remain applicable to today's complex global stage. In conclusion, Machiavelli's The Prince continues to offer valuable insights into the nature of political power, leadership, and strategy. While his advice may seem controversial or outdated in certain aspects, the core principles of adaptability, pragmatism, and the importance of perception remain highly relevant. Modern leaders, particularly in democracies, must navigate an increasingly complex political landscape, where the tools for maintaining power may be more subtle, but are still grounded in the timeless wisdom Machiavelli offered more than 5 centuries ago. The lessons of The Prince remind us that political leadership is not just about moral virtue or ideological purity, but about the ability to understand and wield power in the most effective way possible. As we move further into the 21st century, It is clear that Machiavelli's work remains an important reference point for contemporary leaders seeking to maintain their authority in an increasingly interconnected world. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Machiavelli's The Prince and its relevance to modern political leadership. If you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to subscribe to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel for more thought-provoking content. Hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all our future videos.